If you're secure in who you are, you don't have to tell people what your position is.
Say it again for the people in the back. Say it again.
You're secure in who you are. You don't have to tell anybody your position. Do you see LeBron James and Steph Curry walking around saying, do you know I'm the star? No. They get on the court and do what they need to do. And here's the beautiful thing about them that relates to marriage. It's like a basketball game. The beautiful thing about Steph and LeBron is that for their teammates, in order to win, I will defer. I will defer because you're in a position to bless.
Ooh.
And as a man, I understand that I will defer when she's in a position to bless. I reckon because that you don't have to say, this is who I am. No, you're a team. And the team ends up recalibrating all the time. You know, if I get double teamed, guess what? She got the ball. She gonna cross over and take it to the hoop.
All day. All day. Hello, party people. I am so excited. Today we have the Dr. Reverend Otis Moss and First Lady Monica Moss. And let me just tell you, Otis is my cousin, so I will not be calling him the Reverend Otis Moss, although he is the Dr. Reverend Otis Moss and First Lady Monica Moss. I am so excited to have them on the Dottie's House podcast. They are near and dear to my heart. They have been married, y'all, for over 30 years, going on 31 years, which is unbelievable. They met in college freshman year at Morehouse and Spelman. I'm going to let them tell the story, but you know it's juicy. And they have 2 beautiful children. They have a son and a daughter in their 20s. And so without further ado, Otis and Monica, let's get into it. So before we start, is there anything you want to say to the party people? You know, we are all about creating space for young people to find love. And the reason why we do the podcast is really to inspire and encourage. You know, marriage has not been a forefront focus in our community, and that's what we're trying to do, bring it back. And you two have been through the ups and the downs and everything in between. You're beautiful role models for everyone. So just share.
So first off, Arvia, we're so proud of you for doing this amazing work, for getting a message of love and family and marriage out into this world, and just celebrating beautiful Black people and all people, really. But you really have honed in on making sure that you're uplifting the family and these institutions that we are losing. And so I love I love what you're doing. I love seeing your interviews online, and I've been seeing you, you know, with these wonderful snippets of wisdom and information that people don't get in the same way. It used to be kind of a natural way that it would happen. It was a flow of communication in community. But nowadays we look for it differently. Doesn't mean that it's deficient. It just means that it's different. And so you're filling in the gap. And so I think I just want to applaud you for all of that work and all of the intention that goes behind it.
I am proud of my cousin doing the work to the entire Dottie's House community. We're just grateful for what you're creating. You're creating a community. You're creating something that will last beyond us. You're creating something for generations yet to be born, and you're creating the front porch.
Yes.
Once again, it's a front porch.
That is the goal. That is the goal. Yeah. Thank you.
So we got this whole philosophy around what happens on the front porch. And so you're doing it. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
I think we should. I remember being on the front porch at Martha's Vineyard, and it was such a special time on New York's front porch. And that front porch was packed. You got to bring that back. You got to bring it back. You got to run it back.
Hanging out on the front porch.
Yeah. And Monica making all those huge breakfasts for everybody.
Oh my gosh, the breakfasts. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what drew them in. You got to do what you got to do.
Like 100 pancakes at a time.
Exactly. It was crazy.
That was crazy.
It was fun. I miss those days.
You too. You got to run it back.
I know. We're going to run it back.
Let's get into it.
Great question, though. You said, what do you want to say to the young people?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the community? And so I just want to say, you all are doing it. You are doing it in a way that just is, you're killing it, as they say. And so I just want to encourage younger people to just be authentically who they are. You all have all these gifts, you have all these resources, and you have a lot of responsibility because of the times in which we live. I mean, it's going to be, the mantle will be passed to you. And I think you're fully capable of just making it creative and amazing in your own way.
Yeah. All you have is now to take what you have, take that brick, place it upon the foundation, and pass it on to the next generation. And this crew, for this time, you have some incredible gifts, but you have an amazing responsibility in this moment for our community, for our nation, for our world. And we look forward to see what will happen in the future.
Yes.
Absolutely. All good things. Did you hear that, party people? They said you've got all the resources, all the tools, but also a lot of responsibility. And you all have so much talent. So we are looking forward to hearing about it. Now, let's get into the juicy stuff. How did you guys meet? Who's going to tell this story? And how did the whole thing go down? And I just even want to know, for you all to even connect freshman year, Otis, was this something that you were seeking when you got on Morehouse's campus? Like, let's get into it.
No, not at all. Nope, not one bit. I was just this nervous, goofy young person from Cleveland, excited to be at Morehouse in the AUC, and there was this contest that I entered. It was an oratorical contest, and to be able to represent Morehouse at Friendship Baptist Church, where Morehouse was housed, and Friendship Baptist Church, as you know, was also the origin of Spelman College. So there was this joint service where two individuals represent each school, and I was picked to represent Morehouse.
And my friend Crystal Garland, shout out Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
Crystal was brilliant then and brilliant now, and beautiful and wonderful in all these types of ways. But Crystal was selected to represent Spelman. And so this was an activity that freshmen were encouraged to attend. And it was at church, but we went. We were still excited. A lot of people went. That place was packed out, actually.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and we were there cheering Crystal on, representing Spelman. And I remember when they called for she spoke first, did a great job. So then when they called for the Morehouse representative to come, tall, skinny guy started walking up the aisle with this goofy walk. And I was like, ooh, who is he? But it was something about him. I was like, oh, he's cute. He's really, really cute. And so, I don't know. It was after the service.
No, I want to go back. You're leaving something out. He got up.
Yeah.
And what happened when he walked up, but then what happened when you heard him speak? I mean,
that's good.
Yeah, let's get into it. Don't be leaving out the juicy stuff. You know, he had you turning.
It was 31 years ago. I forgot that part. So this is what happened then. And this is a part of like why we are a couple. I had never heard a young man speak like he spoke. And it wasn't that it was so amazing. It was just so different, and it caught my attention. And it was so unusual I was so drawn in, and I knew there was a special quality about what I was witnessing with him. I had never experienced that before, to see a young person who could articulate himself in that way. And I immediately started to like the way I felt in his presence. That was key.
Pretty people, did you hear that? She immediately liked the way she felt in his presence. Yeah. He probably calmed down her nervous system. That's the language that we use now. Yeah, when you're around someone, how does your nervous system feel? And he calmed your nervous system down and also made you feel good. That's beautiful. So what happened after he spoke?
Well, after I spoke, I went to just congratulate Crystal. Just, hey, you did a great job. And at that moment, there was a young lady who was standing over there with Crystal.
Y'all got to remember, this was the 80s. The 80s, that was the best time in life. So
this is a different world. This is a different world.
Very, very different world. In fact, they used to come to the campus, the whole crew from the different world would come, just so they could feel like, what's the vibe of how college students actually operate. But he came, so we had high lows, still kind of rocking that these days, but it was such a different time. But it was just picture real world. Picture that. But so we're all standing around outside of the church and just talking. And he walks up and he's talking to Crystal. And I'm standing there all goofy and giddy and like, he. And how do we do? Oh, we all introduced ourselves. And so I said, I'm Crystal, I'm G, I'm Tangi, I'm Janine. I'm Helen. And then I said, I'm Monica, and we live in room 215, LLC room 215. Now, see, I was being fast.
No, but party people. You need to hear it out. You need to hear this out. There were multiple women standing there when Otis came by. Everyone introduced themselves, but Monica, she's trying to play low key, but she had game. She said, I'm Monica Moss, and I'm in LLC 215. Party people, game knows game. Okay. Now, did you hear that, Otis? Like, did you hear the 215? Did that
The only person I saw was Monica. Now, here's the thing that she was also saying is, I'm in the honors dorm. You need to know how smart I am.
Yeah.
She's also throwing out that, I'm on scholarship.
Yeah.
I'm in LLC. As everybody knew that if you were in LLC, you were on full ride.
You've got to leverage all the tools in the chest. You got to leverage all them tools. And you heard it, didn't you, Otis?
Oh yeah, I heard it. I knew it. She's like, full ride student, LLC. Oh, she's not playing.
But that's interesting you point this out, because I don't really feel like I was being so strategic. I just was really sincerely and genuinely interested in this guy.
She was,
and I was like, I wanted him to know what
absolutely. Subconsciously, you were being strategic. You were like, it just came out natural. Then the beautiful thing about it was, again, no internet, no nothing. You really couldn't be strategic. You had to be who you were. You were.
Yep. So that's how that happened. And so
I didn't remember anybody but Monica. I literally went back to my room. I was stunned because I just thought she was stunning. It was just like, I'm sitting there like, wow, okay. LLC 215. I'm looking at it. And I went back to my room, told my roommate, I said, hey man, I think I found a woman I want to marry. He's like,
wait, first week of freshman year.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, he's just laughing. He is just, yeah, right. Yeah. And I was like, no, man, this sister, something about her.
And all we did was say hello. So I don't know what was so intriguing, but maybe it was just meant to work out that way. So
let's get into it. What happened after that? What was the first date? There was no dating back then. We didn't even use the term date. What was the first interaction after that?
This is when I think he was trying to have a little game. So there was a young woman who shall go unnamed, and she was interested in him. But you didn't want to be seen over at Morehouse a lot because you didn't want to get labeled. And you didn't want to seem too available also. Remember, this is 1988, so maybe things are different now. But
we're bringing back old school. That's how it needs to be. But go ahead.
So we were, we didn't go over to Morehouse a lot. So this young woman, I didn't know this was the guy she liked. So on the night, now this was so like from a movie, a Spike Lee movie.
It really was. Yeah.
The alphas were crossing. And so they used to carry these bricks and do this long walk, one more step toward the light.
They're all bald head, the same outfit. They're making these ugly faces. Yeah.
So it was like without technology, everybody found out they were coming out. So everybody ran over to see alphas cross. And so
the King Chapel is where they conclude with their alpha brother, Martin Luther King Jr. And we're all gathered out there.
So we're gathered out there, but I haven't seen him. And I haven't seen him since he spoke because he didn't go to the parties and stuff. I was at everything that was a party.
So how long was this, Monica? Was this like 2 weeks after you saw him, a month?
No, it was probably
December. These had to cross.
Yeah, so it's a couple months at least. Yeah.
We're about to end the semester.
Yeah, we're about to end the semester.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So okay.
So the opposite crossing, I see the girl and I see her talking to this guy who I think is so fine. I don't realize it's him. I said, girl, introduce me to that guy. Who was that? She said, that's the guy, Otis. Remember? And I said, no, I didn't remember. I don't know why I didn't remember. He looked so different to me.
But there were several people named Otis.
There were a few Otises, but he also had started growing facial hair. But he was just, I thought it was fine. So he said, this is Monica. And he looks at me and says this. This is what got me. He says,
I've been looking for you.
He said, I've been looking for you. And I was like, what?
Wait, do y'all hear this? This is some confidence too. Okay. Let a man pull up and say, I've been looking for you. Y'all better take notes. To the brothers, y'all better take some notes. Because how did that make you feel, Monica?
I was thrilled. I was like, what? I mean, I had never, I mean, guys were interested in things. You know how guys try to talk to you, but to say, I have been looking for you.
Yeah, I've been
And then
looking.
I got, because I'm kind of analytical about everything, I got to like, well, you knew where I lived. I tell you where I live. Why didn't you come see me or something?
That's what I want to get into. That's
Well,
what I want to get into.
and this is interesting because we've never told this story like
Yeah.
this. It is interesting that he had not immediately pulled up. I think that's how we say it now.
Mhm.
You want to pull up? Is that appropriate?
That's
Like,
appropriate.
I'm gonna roll over to Spelman. It was like,
But you-
I'm going to the things with my crew from
why
Cleveland.
didn't you ever come and look for me? Why didn't you come?
I wasn't just coming over to Spelman I was over at Spelman.
Were you
But-
scared?
No.
Well, you said you had met your wife, and then you didn't do anything about
I
it.
said I was over at Spelman. Every time I was over there on the yard, I'm looking for her.
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
okay. So
Yeah.
you were not going to be knocking on her
wouldn't have been
door.
well,
Absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
But you
yeah,
were
yeah.
intentional.
No, that'd be creepy. That'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
creepy to
Right.
show up at the dorm. I'm not trying to look like a stalker.
Right.
I want to find her at the yard,
Yeah.
walk up to her and like, Monica. That's all I was going to say. Like, I was going to walk up, Monica. I've been looking for her. But every time on the yard, the parties that I went to, because here's the thing, we were broken up by where you live. So
Regional.
yeah, so all the guys from the Midwest, you're going to the Midwest party because somebody said, come by,
Mhm.
And if you're from the South, guess what? Someone from the South is telling you. If you're from Baltimore,
Yeah, we had-
Maryland, that's a whole nother thing.
We had the
Yeah.
state club.
You had these state clubs. So
Howard
we're
was the
broken
same
up in
way.
that manner.
Freshman
Yeah.
year, you were with your people. I was with my Georgia
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. You're with your tribe, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me about the other young lady, though. Like, let's get into it.
And I feel that didn't. He wasn't interested in her. So it just.
Oh, this is the woman that he was talking to when you walked up and said, "Who's that guy?" Oh, okay. So that was really nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It wasn't like
didn't pan
I
out.
was trying to take him.
There
from
was
her.
nothing there.
Yeah, they just knew each other.
Right.
But
So then what happened?
so then the next thing, he didn't ask for my phone number or anything that day, but I did see him. We saw each other again. We started seeing each other out, and it was kind of a slow progression because we saw each other at basketball game.
And that was funny. You tell the story
Yeah,
about the
I
basketball
was with my
game.
girl
So we were
Gia,
together.
and Gia and I were together, and we went to a game, and I saw him again. I was like, oh, there's that guy Otis. But I was being, kind of shy, and I don't know. I don't think I'm shy, but I was trying to, not be too pushy. And she's like, girl, I don't know about him. I think he looks like a thug. And I'm like, he is not a thug. He is not. He's a nice guy. And anyway, that night he asked to walk us back to school, and he asked me for my phone number, and we started talking. And this was a huge, long courtship. We
Mhm.
courted each other. And that's another
That's
thing.
important.
Beautiful.
We
Important.
spent so much time talking and we'd be outside sitting on the steps at Harkness Hall or sitting, wherever.
So I ran track. So after I finished running, because I was practicing for track, I'd come over because she was over in the electrical engineering, Merrill Hall.
Yeah.
I would come and meet her at Merrill Hall after her labs. And here I am in my sweats. I finished my warm down, and we would just sit outside. It's late at night. And we would just talk late into the night. And so then I could walk her.
Oh, it sounds like
back
a
over
movie.
stuff.
So it looking
I
back
love
on it, it was not immediately sexual in any way. It was definitely attraction. Definitely. Now by this time it's the
It was
second semester.
intimacy
It was-
through
It
building
was intimate. It was intimate.
friendship and relationship and learning each other and trust. And I was learning her, she was learning me.
And we were building this trust relationship, and we were establishing early on what kind of relationship we were going to have, both the good parts and the not so good
Mhm.
parts. And that's what we have started to realize after almost 31 years of marriage, that, young people, I don't know. I can't believe since we were 18, we've been
We were
together.
so young. Yeah.
But we were sharing our traumas.
Mhm.
We were building this confidence in this relationship. And it was truly a
Mhm.
trusting relationship. But it was also one that I think has been the reason we've been able to weather a
Mhm.
lot of the storms we've had because of those early moments. I didn't realize that until very recently.
And you were going through a transition in terms of, I don't want to do it. She was a NASA scholar. She was on scholarship
Wow.
through NASA,
Yeah.
an electrical
Wow.
engineering, but she did not want to be an electrical engineer working for NASA.
Yeah.
And she's trying to figure out what is going to be the next step. And one of the biggest things that Monica did was really brave when she said, I'm changing my major.
Yeah.
Because she was a rule follower. It's like,
I'm a rule follower.
It's like, okay, I was told I'm supposed to do this. This is how this is paid for. How am I going to pay for this? What do you want to do? I'm going to do economics. I was like, and math. I was like, okay.
So it was a thing, but
Mhm.
it was a really.
So it was a slow burn. I love it. It was a
slow.
nice slow burn. That's beautiful. And so were you seeing each other? And I know we have so many other things to get into, but I just think this is such a beautiful story. So were you seeing each other daily? Because you didn't have cell phones. So you had to have a routine. I guess you knew that track practice would be over and Otis would be coming over. And that's beautiful. So you dated through second semester?
We dated from that point forward.
From that point forward, yeah.
From which point forward?
From the basketball game night.
Okay. And you saw each other all the time.
And taking her out to her first date.
Well, let's think about this. Oh, yeah, the first date.
Popeyes.
Guess where he took me? Say it again.
Popeyes.
Look, these people are all worked up about some Cheesesteak Factory. Y'all, their first date was Popeyes. Okay. And they've been together for over 30 years. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stop getting so caught up in the restaurant.
It's the presence. You want to be in the presence of the person that you love.
We walked.
It was the point of walking to. It wasn't the food at Popeyes. It was I'm walking with her to Popeyes, and I gathered my little dollars, and I'm paying for the meal. I had no money.
It was so sweet. I would have gone anywhere with them because I just really, and that's the other thing that happened too.
Steagles.
We used to go to Steagles.
We used to go to Steagles. Two-piece. We don't eat.
What's Steagles? I've never even heard of Steagles.
There's a hole in the wall.
If you know Steagles, you know Steagles.
Yeah, if anybody from Orlando, or Fish Supreme, or whatever it is.
I remember Fish Supreme. Fish Supreme, that fried fish and those French fries. Woo!
Yeah. Fries, ooh, so good. But what I loved about him, and it was really very clear to me that I loved the way I felt. I felt safe with this guy. I felt safe. And I come from a really tumultuous household. And so I needed, like you talk about the nervous system, that somatic connection we have to our bodies. I needed, my nervous system needed to decompress. I didn't know it. I didn't know the words. I didn't have the vocabulary, but I knew the feeling. I think that's what I've been doing with him for years, is just going on this gut instinct and building intimacy. To this week, we have been working on this. I mean, getting ready for this presentation. It's just been, it has not always been easy.
Well, we're going to get into the fact that it hasn't always been easy, but not yet. So party people, stay tuned because we're going to get into it all.
So here we are, freshman and sophomore year. Monica was very clear at a certain time, no matter what, if she came by to visit me, you taking me back to Spelman right now. But I'm trying to get her to stay longer. And she's like, no, I'm not going to be caught around here walking at a particular time, leaving the campus of Morehouse. I said, yes, ma'am.
That's a good man, a respectful man. And what's so beautiful is that, Monica, you created boundaries and Otis respected those boundaries. And again, it was the foundation that is the reason why here you all are almost 31 years married, because of the intimacy that was created early on. Not sexual intimacy, but real, true intimacy, getting to know each other's hearts, being vulnerable. It's really beautiful. People, the biggest takeaway I'm hearing so far is communication. When you meet someone and you really want to get to know them, really take the time to get to know their heart and be open and vulnerable. And also think about how they're making you feel.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing from what you guys are saying,
But something you just hit me in terms of Monica, when you were like, I've gotta know, you're going to take me home. There was in the dormitory where young ladies would leave at a particular time and other men in the dormitory didn't necessarily respect them. Everybody had deep respect for Monica. I mean, they were nice to her and all of that, but it was very interesting that it was just an interesting dynamic. It just hit my head. I mean, just hit me in the head. There's nothing about Rupert and just everybody who was on that floor, how they communicated And they had, if you have boundaries, other people also have to have boundaries, even people you don't even know very well.
Yes, it's all in how you carry yourself. So, Monica, what do you think you did differently to set the tone? Or Otis, what did you see differently that Monica did relative to the other women that the men necessarily didn't have as much respect for?
Monica always had an authority and a spirit that one was, it was powerful, but at the same time, it was caring. And so people gravitated toward her because of her charisma. She was kind, she was, and all of that. But at the same time, she was like, I'm sorry, I can't go over that line.
Yeah, I had very, very clear lines of demarcation. But a lot of that came from the way I had to grow up. And I had to be real clear. I was always on an objective. I knew I had to do well in school because I had to get a scholarship to go to college. I knew that I had to keep the scholarship to stay in college. I knew I wanted a future. I knew that I wanted to be married. And that's another thing. A lot of the young women I've spoken to over the years, especially late as they've gotten older and never have been married, they talk about how marriage was not a priority. For me, I knew I wanted to be married. I wanted a wedding and I wanted to be married. And so that's how I operated. I just thought, and I came from women who carried themselves a certain way as well.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of really positive examples about being nurturing and being educated and being kind. But I would say that main thing was that I respected myself and I just didn't want to be known in any derogatory way. That was important to me.
That's great. We're going to get into some other things, but I want to go back to one thing that you have brought up twice. And you said you had a tumultuous upbringing. Do you want to share with the audience a little bit about what that means? Because it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. And here you are today with a beautiful life. So do you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, my parents were young. I was their baby born freshman year of college, and they had to figure out. My mom was 18, my dad was 19, so they were young. Obviously, I was not planned, but they had to grow up. And now that I'm older, I look at what I thought was, I don't know, mistakes maybe, and I look at them differently. I think that they were just doing the best they could. They eventually did get married when I was 2 years old. And so they've made a life and, got their education and a whole lot of things went into
And they're still married?
And they're still married.
Beautiful.
Yes.
How many years?
I think 53 years now.
Again, party people, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so when Monica's using the word tumultuous, she grew up in a 2-parent household, some really strong values. It just wasn't maybe how you're raising your
wasn't the
kids
happiest
now.
house. Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
They were young.
They were young. They were angry. They were working it out. So, and I just had to be around all of that. So
You had a big family and everybody, as you always said.
Oh yeah, I'm Monica Brown Moss, and Browns don't get divorced. So at least the older generation, my dad's generation, it's a lot of them, and they stay married. They work it out. So yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. 31 years, been together since freshman year. What's been the hardest part of your marriage, and how did you overcome it? Which question do you want to answer first?
Ooh.
Oh,
we're still trying to overcome the hardest part.
We are.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is really important because, I mean, it's very personal. Okay, so we need to tell you all that you see, like we really were in love. We've been in love. I remember I think we've been dating like a month when he said, "Monica, I love you." And he meant it. And I meant it too. I don't think I said it back to you quite then.
No, you didn't.
But I've always felt loved by this person. Now, what you will need to know is that the week that we got married, now this has been a defining moment for us the entirety of our marriage. The week that we got married, Otis's sister committed suicide. The Wednesday before we were to be married on a Saturday. Now, that takes all the breath out of me just saying it. But we have lived, we did get married on that day, even though we didn't think we probably should. We kept the date. And
people came and
people had already
then
bought
we
the
had to go
tickets
to a funeral right after the wedding.
So
Devastating.
that moment of devastation and trauma paused.
It haunted.
It has haunted this marriage.
It has haunted us. It just didn't make any sense, obviously, in reference, and it haunted the relationship. What should have been a celebration of us, and really should have been Monica's day on so many levels.
Because remember, I'd always wanted to be married. I'd planned this thing for years.
And up until that time, to that moment, there was just such incredible excitement. I mean, my boys were excited because I had a ton of groomsmen, and it's like, yeah, we're going to wear this. Monica's like, no, what y'all going to wear? We ain't doing this whole African thing here. You can have African accents, my
Accent.
want to see me. And I was like, okay, whatever you want.
But it was beautiful. If had we done it in all African,
yeah,
it would have been beautiful.
It was, but, and then this, boom, this trauma, and then came to the wedding.
But see, what happened was, instead of, we went inward, and not just inward as a couple, but we went inward as individuals. And so all of that pain, all of those questions about why and why now, all of the obvious hurt and the grief, all of the grief. We started marriage in mourning, and it was almost impossible to access each other intimately because there was this humongous burden of grief sitting on our chests.
Yeah.
And especially Otis, because I didn't know his sister. I'd met her only a couple times, but it was not talked about, and we didn't go get counseling and all the things that would be a resource now.
That was the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
We didn't go to get counseling. We did it. It has taken years and years and years to unpack and unpack and unpack.
I can't even imagine.
My side of the family was quiet, introverted. Like, we're going to be quiet about it. Monica came from a family that they communicated. There might have been challenges, but they were like, I'm going to express. And so you had these two dynamics. And so a trauma happens, and I'm looking at everybody be essentially quiet about, wait a minute, my sister killed herself, and raising questions. Did she kill herself because I went to tell her I was getting married? We were very close when I was small. She was older than me. She used to read to me. She took me out to movies. I mean, that's why I probably like movies to this day. And all my love of James Baldwin, Zora Neale Hurston. She was a writer, phenomenal writer. Yeah. And an incredible writer, would have been an extraordinary poet or essayist or whatever in the area of literature. And so I go to tell her, and I know she's had multiple breaks before. I said, I want to tell you that I'm getting married. And I remember the vacant stare, oh. And then a few days later, this happened. So in my mind, I'm thinking, did I cause this? I've never told anyone that. I held it.
Until very recently. I mean, in the last 3 months type.
Yes.
Recent. So can you imagine feeling that type of responsibility for something that you couldn't have ever caused? And all of that, we were still able to do a marriage. We were still able to live a life and raise kids. But there was always this, it wasn't a secret. It was like
it was a haunting.
It was a secret. It was a secret. Otis was holding on to something that was really hurting him.
Yeah.
That he thought was true. And probably, Otis, you probably didn't even have the courage to even put that out in the universe. You did not even want to verbalize it. It was too painful. Yeah. The fact that you were even thinking that thought, you were just trying to make that thought go away. And
Right.
as a result, it created all of this pain. I'm so sorry. First of all, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I loved Daphne. I remember when we would stay with you all when our parents would go away, and Daphne and Kevin would be taking care of me, you, and Renee.
Mm-hmm.
You would take Kevin was terrorizing y'all. I
That's
know.
right. That's right.
Kevin was
That's right.
terrorizing y'all.
He was chasing us around and not
Yes,
being so
yes,
nice.
yes.
And it just breaks my heart. And I can't even imagine it. And I'm just proud of you guys for being so strong and sustaining a marriage of 31 years after going through all of that. What's so beautiful about it, even though it's so painful, is the fact that even though you're now owning it 30 years into your marriage on the other side, the next 30, 40, 50, 60 are going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The two people that you guys are going to become as a result, and the marriage that's going to grow as a result of now this being revealed, is going to be the most beautiful life that you could ever imagine. So thank the Lord Jesus that this has revealed itself now.
No, and let me thank you and the Lord, absolutely, because I really feel like this timing is it's a divine
It
appointment.
really is.
When you asked us to do this, I told Otis, I said, I feel like there's a reason we need to do this now.
Mm.
And
Wow.
we had no idea when you asked that what was coming in the weeks leading
Right.
up to this day. There are so many convergences, and God is speaking so loudly right now into our marriage. And there's this idea of the slow work of God, how God sometimes, it's not always an immediate response. And sometimes it takes time to unfold. I don't know. That's why I talk about all that time we spent courting one another. That has to be what has sustained us, because
Absolutely.
it's been so bumpy along the way. Because when you have shame, or when you have guilt, or when you have grief, your natural inclination is not to extend out.
Right.
It is to go inward. And so here we were at a time in our life where we should have been the happiest ever at the beginning of a marriage. And it was impossible to be happy. And so we developed some coping strategies and mechanisms that probably weren't the healthiest. Work, 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 work. Always
Put your head down.
put your head down.
Put your head down.
Get away from the situation. I'm not talking about it. Don't bother me. All these things, but like to be hyper focused on what it is that we were doing. Like, how can we make ourselves feel better by engagement with, whether it's organizations, the church.
So you just busied yourself.
We busied ourselves, but it was a protective
Okay,
device.
so I want to know.
Yeah.
The people want to know. How did all of this reveal itself 3 months ago? Why did this come out 3 months ago?
Well, it's kind of misleading to say just 3 months ago. It's been coming
It's
out.
been coming. It's been in stages. Yes.
But
there was some years ago when I ended up writing an article about Daphne's death that was published in Ebony. And that was huge because nobody in my family talked about it.
Yeah.
And that became the first step towards saying, we need to talk about my sister, as brilliant as she was, loving as she was, dealt with severe mental health challenge. She's a paranoid schizophrenic. She heard voices, and she had a break when she went to Spelman. Is when all of that trauma and all of her mind unable to. So it became this process of here's one step, here's another step, and
yeah. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Well, I was just going to say, and then then my family, mom and dad don't. This is painful to them. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
my brother don't want to talk about it. No, and so finding, I could confide in Monica.
He could confide in me because we love each other and we love each other. But what we've realized is that neither of us were equipped to handle that. Right. And that's where a lot of times people make mistakes in their relationships, is they think that they are able to, they can fix it. Oh, just give it to me. I'm going to fix it. But that was never a model or a plan that could have been successful. What we realized now is that, about 3 months ago, we had a situation that happened and I felt very unseen by him.
Mm-hmm.
And it just brought out all these years of, when you're in a marriage, I would love to see the 50-50 marriage. I have never seen it. Marriage really does require constant imagination for how are we going to nurture one another at this phase. At this phase, we're going to change. It's 3 years later. We've been through a pandemic. The children are leaving the house. We have to move. All of those things. You have to be conscious and aware to say, hey, this person matters most to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell that I've pulled back, whether it's with intimacy, whether it's with, just spending time, the things we used to do, like just going to the movies or something like that. We don't do that. We haven't had time to do it. So I felt very unseen by him. And I kind of said it in a different way. And I'm like, look, I deserve better than this. you're going to either see me or not. And
So you were not feeling seen and heard in the marriage overall. So
Yeah.
it wasn't one particular thing. You just had like a aha moment. Like, we don't do the things we used to do. We're kind of going through the motions.
It's just that we live a very intense life.
Yeah,
absolutely. And guys, let me help you understand what Dr. Reverend Otis Moss and First Lady Monica Moss do. How large is your congregation?
7,500.
7,500 people. Trinity United Church of Christ. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, Trinity United Church of Christ. And they are one of the largest Black congregations in the country. Is that right?
No, not in the denomination.
Yeah, that's what I meant, in the denomination.
Yeah, the largest. It's the actually largest church in the denomination.
That's what I meant. It's the largest Black church in the denomination, and it's just a lot of responsibility because it's also in the forefront of Black culture. It's in the forefront of Chicago, social justice, civil rights. It's all the things that. I mean, it's like MLK, like it's a lot. Like, people rely on you all for a lot. And so that is a lot of responsibility. And also, as First Lady and Reverend and First Lady, you all are responsible for doing marriage counseling and all the things, and not really having the opportunity to focus on yourselves.
Right. Yeah. And not taking the opportunities we could have taken. And we had just gotten into a long time of just not nurturing, not caring for ourselves. And that is something, I don't like, what is it? What's the word? When you say like cliches, I don't, sometimes cliches really bother me. So date nights are a great idea. I'm not bashing them at all, but it may not work for your life in the way that it works for another family's life. So, I feel like what we were doing was so we were just avoiding one another. And so
were you having sex? Let's just get into the sex then right now. Were you having sex?
Not as much as usual, because we were just that busy. I mean, it was like, I'm going to bed at 10. He's up working on a sermon until 2. It was just like, we weren't nurturing.
Going past each other.
You weren't being intentional. You just were not being intentional. Right. I understand. Hey, been there. I've been married for 28 years. Been there, done that. This is not, party people, marriage is not for the weak and the weary, but I tell you what, once you go through some stuff, the other side is so glorious. And I tell you, I ride with Jason Few all day. It's hard to without Eric. I ride for him all day, and I can see Monica and Otis are going to do the same. But it's not easy. Like, this is not, I'm so happy you guys are sharing this, but every story, everybody's got their ups and downs. And even with dating, I want people to understand that dating's not going to be perfect. You can't break up after the first blip.
Right.
If you're aligned on values, if you're aligned on goals, if you're aligned on the things that are important, you need to be able to work through that.
Right.
That's well said.
Marriage is not just a vision board. It's beyond that. It is the deep commitment. There's something, and I've always loved it in scripture, in the Jewish tradition. When you look at Psalms, it has these beautiful Psalms, Lord is my shepherd. And then they have what are called the cursing Psalms, like where in the world are you? And in the Jewish tradition,
long? How long?
How long is this going to last? And in that tradition, people say, well, why can't we just have the nice ones? And the rabbi will say, until you've gone through all of the emotions with God, you cannot have true intimacy.
Right.
Just as in any relationship, you cannot have true intimacy.
You have to go through it.
Until you've been joyous and angry, frustrated and tired, triumphant, and at the same time dealt with tragedy. When you have gone through the full circle, then there is an intimacy. There is a love. Your sex then becomes making love, and at the same time, and it becomes completely different because you've been through the entire circle and gamut of intimacy. I'm angry with you.
I resent you.
And at the same time, I'm loving you.
I love you. You are my ride or die.
You're my ride or die. And when you can only be a ride or die until you have been broken and built up at the same time.
I just saw
Say
yesterday.
it again for the people in the back. You can only be ride or die if you are what?
Broken and built up at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is nothing but the truth. So relatable and
peace. You get peace once you've become intimate with sorrow. Once you've become intimate with pain and suffering and joy and happiness. It's not one or the other. It's both and. And that's what, being married for 31 years or 28 years, you got to have some longevity in it to see it through.
That's right.
But those bumps in the road, like you said, you cannot quit after the blip. Because you're connected. You're willing to stay in it to see where it's going.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. So beautiful. The one thing I will say that I say to the young people all the time, and this is a perfect example, is I say, you've got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I feel as though social media and the phones and the internet have made it very difficult for them to be comfortable with the uncomfortable because they feel like they can swipe and feel differently or get someone different or have a different emotion. And there's no delayed gratification. They don't want to put the work in. And to see the beautifulness of your marriage and hearing about the being comfortable with the uncomfortable and you talking about how you have to get intimate with sorrow. You've got to get intimate with pain the same way you get intimate with joy and happiness. That is beautiful. Wow.
I wish I could claim it. I can't think of the entire quote nor the author, but it's the truth. It's like peace comes only once you've gone through. And of course, none of us want to go through, but there are so many lessons that come from it.
Yeah.
I can tell you early on in our marriage, Jason and I had things that happened that we would have never thought happened. My dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, only given 6 months to live, newly married. I think we were 9 months into our marriage. And Jason said, my parents were divorced. And Jason said, your dad can come live with us.
Wow.
So basically, I am pregnant, working, he's working, and he's in business school. And I was taking care of my dad, taking him back and forth to chemo treatments at University of Chicago. We were going to Trinity. But all of those things, I look back, first of all, yes, I married a good man. I mean, you don't know who you're married to until you go through some stuff. I look back on that, and then me being diagnosed with breast cancer at 40 and going through all of that. Our marriage is so much stronger because of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much because you've gone through real stuff and you've experienced all those emotions. I've never heard that poem, but I want it. So when you find it, send it to me.
It's just a little quote, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, and you build these muscles, and
muscles.
Yeah. You really do.
I had thyroid cancer when I was 33, and of course, when you hear a cancer diagnosis, the first thing you want to know is, am I going to die? Tell me what's the prognosis, and that started. Well, it was actually a part of a chain, but that started me really realizing that he may not always get it right, but he is in this completely. And I think that I wish brothers could understand that it's okay to surrender to your wife. I don't know about like the dating part, but when and it's the same with women. I know we have to be strong, and I know I've heard about this thing called the soft life and all this type of, or soft wife or whatever it's
No,
called.
it's soft life and soft wife. It's both of them.
And I believe that God has created us to be treated with gentleness and care, and our husbands are to fill that space.
Mhm.
They're to do that. That's their job. I really do believe that. But that's not all they're called to do. And sometimes they can't. Sometimes you go through seasons where, if your spouse or your partner that you're committed to, I don't know quite what the entire audience is that we're talking to,
Mhm.
but if that person, say, loses their job and they can't be fully what they once
Mhm.
were, that's when you have to have some muscles that have been built together. Because
Been there, done that. You got
yeah,
to be there. I mean, and the muscles are so important.
the muscles. Yeah.
And I think it's for men, it's so important, as we're having this conversation, I was thinking about the necessity and need for men to be mentored how to be intimate, for
Mm.
men to be mentored on how to love. If in fact all of your models are seeing women as objects, it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not any fault of, they've been brought up in a particular way. And there needs to be, and I'm really just very, 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 I struggle with this piece about this new masculinity kind of thing that people are talking about, that men have to be this alpha. I'm like, usually, and I heard someone who was a Navy SEAL said, any man that says that he is an alpha, you can guarantee that he actually is super insecure.
100%.
Alpha, nobody runs around talking about I'm the head. No one runs around talking about I'm in charge. Only a knucklehead in the White House right now. But anyway, that's a
That
whole
part.
other story.
That
You're
part.
insecure. If you're secure in who you are, you don't have to tell people what your position is.
Say it again
LeBron
for the
James,
people in the back. Say it again.
you're secure in who you are. You don't have to tell anybody your position. Do you see LeBron James and Steph Curry walking around saying, do you know I'm the star? No. They get on the court and do what they need to do. And here's the beautiful thing about them that relates to marriage. It's like a basketball game. The beautiful thing about Steph and LeBron is that for their teammates, in order to win, I will defer. I will defer because you're in a position to bless.
Ooh.
And as a man, I understand that I will defer when she's in a position to bless. I reckon because that you don't have to say, this is who I am. No, you're a team. And the team ends up recalibrating all the time. If I get double teamed, guess what? She got the ball. She going to cross over and take it to the hoop.
All day. All
Right.
day.
All day. And I think, yeah, that's good.
That was a great analogy. The power of partnership. The
Yeah.
power of partnership is what I heard. And the other piece I heard was sometimes Otis is in charge. Sometimes Monica is in charge. Sometimes you both are in charge. But it's an ebb and flow, and you do what you need to do at the time.
It's an
Sometimes you don't have enough, and you need the other person to step up, and vice versa.
right. You just don't have it sometimes.
You just don't, and it's okay.
It's all right.
And that's when that person has to be real to you. So you don't go into a marriage thinking that it's a concept. It is not. It is real. It's dirty
real.
sometimes. People are going to be sick. People are going to be.
They're going to be sick.
Yeah, they're going to be sick.
People going to gain weight.
They're going to gain weight.
Yeah.
They're going to lose weight.
Yep. They're going to lose weight. They're going to gain weight. Their hair's going to change. And I, as you said, Otis, they're struggling because of this phone and what they see and its false images. I want to talk to you all specifically, this is a question for Otis, but Monica, I'd like for you to opine as well. I was on an Instagram live last night and a question came in, or someone made a point that said a lot of men don't want to be in relationships because they are enjoying being single. And this is 30-plus-year-old men. And they said if someone else is going to come into their space, they're going to need to be enjoyable and not cause any friction. And I really got upset. I don't know if the word was friction, but basically, they're good by themselves was basically the tone. And I do think that that person doesn't feel alone. I feel that this is maybe something that is possibly being promoted on the internet underground to create separation of family, especially in our community, gender wars. And I would like your perspective on someone saying, unless she's going to come into my life and make it more enjoyable, I'm good alone. That was it. I was triggered.
I could understand that. I think what you are describing is the false narrative of the frame. That what we end up doing is we are telling a generation, here's the picture. I saw this thing that was really quite funny on some months ago, talking about Instagram and reality. They're showing somebody who was supposed to be on a private plane, but it was really just a set. And they were, just kind of just showing all this. And so we've created this frame and not telling everybody what is outside of the frame. And normally when you have young men that say, I don't want any friction and I wanted this, that, and the other, my reaction is I begin to ask questions. Who are your elder male mentors? Who are those people in your life? Who are the caring and loving men in your life? And one thing that I can say, I witnessed loving men in my life who cared. He cared for my mother, cared for, grandmother, aunts, all those things. I saw that and I thought that was to be normative. A man is supposed to be loving and caring, even when folks got on each other's nerves. I think about my Aunt Josie and my uncle, and they never actually, they were common law marriage, by the way. But he loved my Aunt Josie in a way. Uncle Lou was a unique person, and I watched him, the way he would talk to my aunt. I watched him, the stories he would say about her, and I watched them, they got on each other's nerves. And my aunt, who was an avowed feminist, would say, like, look, you I don't like the way you're talking to me. But I saw that, and it was really beautiful. But we are in an age where people are promoting things specifically to undermine relationships and really also promote some type of profit around undermining.
Say it again for the people in the back. Profit for undermining.
Profit. Anytime someone's telling you, buy this and follow me and giving you advice to undermine stuff, that ain't nothing but a form of techno-capitalism designed to undermine the Black family, to undermine Black relationships.
And you know what we're doing? We are undoing all of that, which is the reason why y'all are on here right now. Because, this is more of what we need to be putting out into the universe.
Can I jump in on that?
You sure can.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think that we're living in a virtual age where we're becoming more and more disembodied. I think that what we have to realize is that we are creatures, God's creatures, creation. Even if you're not a person of faith, if you're not a Christian, if you don't believe, you know that we are created in some way. I believe we are created in the likeness and image of God, and it's all about relationship. That's what's it's not that you pick up pieces of yourself from out here. We are embodied with that. That's how we were created to be. So when we are existing with artificial intelligence and with a digital platform most of the time, I think what happens is that it's unnatural. It's just unnatural. So then we're able to say a person is segmented. So you got a man who's saying, unless she entertains me, unless she's what I want her to be. I don't want all that. I don't want all that drama. I've heard that too. I don't want all that stress and drama. They got to come correct. You got to come ready. All that kind of stuff. I don't know who that person is who's always ready.
Yeah, I don't know that.
And so I think if we start to see ourselves as we were made, as these amazingly wonderful, diverse, complex,
imperfect,
multifaceted, we ebb and we flow. It all is a part of who we are. And so if we can accept that within ourselves, that's why intimacy doesn't start outside of yourself. It starts with yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't be intimate with yourself and accept all of who you are, you're not gonna be successful with another person.
Right.
Your husband was able to say, move your dad in, because he knew who he was.
Exactly.
He didn't know exactly who he would become at that early stage, but he knew who he was. Yeah.
Which is how we connected on day one. I knew too, the day I met Jason, same thing. I knew it day one. You kind of know when you know. Well, this has been a really good conversation. There's so much more that I can ask. So almost 31 years of marriage. You've been through a lot. You're currently going through a lot. You've got 2 children. What do you see is the main reason why our young people aren't connecting? What do you think we can do as a culture to help the Black family? Because the Black family is in crisis. We have 38% of marriage in the Black community compared to 61% in the Indian community, 54% in the Asian community, 40-some% in the white community. We are at the lowest. Latino is next and then us. Do you talk about this a lot at church? Like, do you see what I see from my peers that don't look like me, my white friends, my Jewish friends? Their kids are getting married. They are moving on with their careers. They're buying their houses and going on with life. And that is what happiness looks like to them.
Yeah.
Having grandchildren, running around. And I don't see that as a priority right now in our community. We're working on it. And I think conversations are starting to happen. But it's interesting that that is not the vision that they are seeing for themselves. What are you hearing in your church, or what do you think is happening, and what do you think we can do to fix it?
Yeah.
Well, there is I just think, a real deep danger around the current culture centered on self in a particular way. It's more external self, but you hear younger people desiring for the material, but not working on the internal at all. I want to be wealthy, things of that nature. But the other thing is that we don't have these intentional aspects of the reason that you have a high degree of marriage in particular communities, whether Indian, Asian, or even Italian and Jewish, is because of the consistent ritual and conversation around marriage.
Consistent, I just want to say this out loud because I think it's so strong. The consistent ritual and what?
Rituals and conversations about marriage.
The consistent rituals and conversations about marriage.
Yep. So here's an example. If you want to look at an Indian family, you want to look at a Jewish family, an Italian family, if you want to look at a Nigerian family, all the Nigerians also need to be placed within that community. So when a child is 7 years old, or 8 or 6 or whatever, or let's say by the time that they're 12, they have been to multiple weddings from different people in the family. And they have been told multiple times, this is what we do. Black children have been to multiple funerals at a young age, where weddings become rare. So now we are actually having to have conversations around why you get married, but talking even about the whole ritual of marriage. People like say, I've never been to one. I don't know what that is like. I have no connection with that. So there has to be we have to create these intentional rite of passage moments for young people. A rite of passage so that they see a wedding and what that purpose is. A rite of passage of when there's a funeral of an elder and why we do this the way that we do. We have to unpack the trauma that we are dealing with. And we have to say, what are the benefits for marriage? Here's a very practical benefit and reference for those who are materialists who may be listening. It's a wonderful book called The Village Values by Robert Michael Franklin. He says, it makes sense for Black men to get married. And he said, let me tell you why. If a Black man is married, he will live longer. If a Black man is married, he will be healthier. If a Black man is married, it's less likely that he will have Alzheimer's. If a Black man is married, he will be wealthier. I mean, he had a list of 30 different things in reference to when, and he was talking with men. It was the whole thing at Morehouse. This is what happens. He says, but we don't share that. We don't communicate that. So we have to have this communication on the actual physical benefits, the psychological benefits, the sociological and the economic benefits, because many times we're in a culture that is just trying to check boxes. I want to be rich. I want to be comfortable, which anyway, that's a whole, I got a real
Because
issue.
the rich and comfortable gets old really quick. And I honestly thought that was going to change once the pandemic happened and people realized how alone and isolated they are. But now we've got Chat GPT, and that's their therapist, and that's their intimate partner and everything else. And that's scary because you know what? Before we got on this podcast, this was really bothering me because so many people go to Chat GPT for even work advice. And I was going to, yes, I can go to Chat GPT and say, what is your opinion about this, that, and the other? And it'll give it to me on whatever topic it is. And I honestly wanted to go Google. I wanted to say how many people are now relying on Chat GPT for relationship advice. Because I have a friend that's actually struggling in her marriage and is using Chat GPT for advice. And she's thinking about divorcing. And I said, this is a chat bot. You cannot use this chatbot. The chatbot told her, Monica, that she needed a softer life and that this was going to be her soft era and that she needed to step up and do this. But I wanted to go Google, you guys, how many people are using it. But when you go to Google, it's chat. It's an generative AI that's giving you the feedback. So it's really taking over. It's not even Google. So if I were to even try to go even to get the data is going to come back from chat. The data is not going to come back from, it's very scary. I don't think people realize how this thing is taking over. I talk to people every single day. This thing is taking over. It is so scary and no one's talking about it. I mean, someone could be talking to chat about their mother or their father and complaining. And the next thing you know, you have a severed relationship with your child because of a chat bot.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Scaring me. It's really scaring me, you guys.
That is very scary. And
I digress off topic, but
no, it's on topic because that's the truth of things. And when I think about why our families are becoming so different, there's so many factors. But one of the things, it is the modeling, it is the conversations. I don't know how we get it back, but I do think that women hold so much power, influence. I think that women are going to have to use whatever means, whether it's an online video platform, interviews, or maybe you're that woman who does pottery and you invite other young women to learn to put their hands in clay and become creative instead of putting on lashes and on the TV and buying outfits and showing, creating something instead of it just being so self-focused. And I look at young women and I know this is, I wish that young women could see how absolutely beautiful they are. They have these amazing bodies that will change over years. They are beautiful, not just because of the shape of their bodies, but just because of how they are wonderfully made. And I know this is a little off of the marriage topic, but I'll try to get back to it.
It's important. This is important.
Yeah, I just wish that we could see ourselves as we are, be appreciative of that, and realize that we're good enough. We are good enough because of just that we are created.
Yeah.
But when it comes to marriage, I think that so much of the reason I wanted to be married was because I saw so many of them around me, so many marriages. And we talked about it all the time. And we talked about the grandma. I saw pictures of my grandparents being married. And I saw, we always had stories. And that leads me to, I don't know how we get back, but I know what we can start to do. And we can start to be modern day griots. We can start to tell the stories
Yes.
in different ways, because I don't think you really can sometimes conceive of things that you've never seen them.
Oh, no, it's all about exposure, which is why we're doing this, because people need to hear your story and they need to hear the good, the bad, and everything in between. It's that we're not hearing and seeing enough of this. But okay, there's 2 points that you guys made today that I had not thought about, and I'm going to dig into, and I just want to say thank you for them. One of them is around the self-centeredness, how people are so focused on themselves. I think that is part of the reason why they're having a hard time connecting.
Yeah.
Because
I
they're
think
so
that's
focused on
perfect.
themselves that they're not like, I even hear it when I talk to them, like they're not even engaging with people from a perspective of, I want to get to know you. I want to understand more about you. It's everything's about me and what do I need. And the internet is all about me, me, me. It's very interesting, honestly. They're very inward focused. And the other piece that I didn't even consider is the rituals. That makes so much sense around the weddings. I mean, seeing is believing. If you've gone to X amount of weddings already by 12 in the Indian culture, of course, that's going to be something that you're going to aspire to and expect to have, and something that you're going to want in your life. And I know I have a lot of Jewish friends, and they talk over me. Like if I've got a girlfriend here and a girlfriend here, they're talking over me, talking about, where's your son going to camp? Okay, we got to make sure they connect because, they've got their camps. And then they're going to say, oh, your child's in the city, give me the number. They're going to connect. And the kids expect for the connection to happen. The kids aren't shocked when the auntie or the mother says, hey, I met this woman, her son's in the city too, call him up. That's normal for them. If I try to do that, people are like, that's awkward. I'm not doing that. That should be the norm.
It should be the norm. And when our son and when our daughter, when they turned 13, we did a bro mitzvah and a sister mitzvah for them. We had a whole thing. They had friends who were the same age, and we did it together as families. And we said, we're going to make sure that we commemorate this moment for them. We had prayers, we had food, we had dancing, we had, we made it a big deal because it makes a difference. One of the things that I maybe I will revisit this after this conversation. We do need to develop African American traditions.
100%.
Like people always say, well, we have Thanksgiving, we go to Big Mama's house, but Big Mama is young nowadays. Big Mama don't know how to cook beans and hams and stuff like that. It has changed. So Big Mama is 50 years old. Yeah, know all that stuff. But what we need to do, we need to, okay, here's my thing. I'm very tactile. I believe in let's be concrete. We need to cook food at home. We need to sit at tables together and talk to one another. We need to have chores. The children need to have chores. They need to have something that they know that they have to do. We need to have designated times when our families convene. Like, what if on Friday nights, Black people did, and I know we're doing it in really creative ways. We go to tea houses and we go to all these different things. But what if we knew that there was a Black family Shabbat time where we were having Friday night meals, where we were talking to one another. We were talking to our kids and talking about intimacy and sex and all those types of things that they need to know. And it's not awkward.
Let's do it. Let's make it a thing. I love Shabbat. I go to Shabbat. Some of my Jewish friends invite me to Shabbat. My kids have been to Shabbat. It was my Jewish sisters that really encouraged me to launch DOTTIE. They were like, y'all need this for the community because they've got that down. They've got the culture and the traditions down, and I respect it.
And it's fun, and it becomes a part of the momentum of the rhythm of life. So we're
going to create a movement, y'all. We're going to create a movement.
I'm joining.
You heard it here. What's today? It's March what?
27th.
March 27th, 2025 is when the movement is starting when we came up with this idea around traditions and culture, we're going to start something on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Similar to Shabbat. We don't know what it is, but we're about to start we're about to get a movement going.
Yeah, I really do want to talk to you about that because I've kind of been thinking about that. So I'm seeing things that I didn't know I could do, and I think I could do this.
Oh, you can do a lot.
Yeah.
We believe in you, Monica. You're going to lead the way, First Lady. Genius idea. Yeah. Do you guys have any other things that you would like to say to the young people? I mean, I just want to say thank you so much for being so vulnerable and open. This was such an eye-opening conversation. I had to hold back tears multiple times, and I'm just grateful to have you guys on. You inspire me. You always have. I'm so glad that you guys are working through your stuff and getting on the other side.
Yeah, it's a good feeling to be be entering into the other side. And it's this is Lenten season. And so we are preparing for the resurrection of Jesus, but we also are seeing some resurrection in the energy and the excitement of marriage. And that's what I want to say. I to the people who want to be married, it's possible. And it's so beneficial and the payoffs are wonderful, but it's not easy and remember, it's slow work. It's slow work. And so you want longevity, you want time, you want things to unfold naturally and in order. So I would just say, don't give up, but find like-minded people who want what you want. And I think that the possibilities are endless. And if we look at it as a movement, as we look at it as we need to do this to make something survive, the Black family to even survive. I think that if we can start to go there, we'll see major changes.
That's strong.
I would add to every young person, I would say that there is a beauty and wonder and just joy in marriage. But here is the thing I think everyone should know. Every season carries its own beauty. So your autumn is beautiful, even though things are being released. Winter is beautiful, even though it can be harsh. We love spring because things are growing and blooming, and we love our summer that we spend our time. But if you really want to be married, you've got to be able to embrace your spring, your summer, your fall, and your winter. In the words of Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call.
And I'll be there. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Because you got a friend.
You got a friend, yep. So thank you, Arvia, for this time.
This was wonderful.
Thank you, guys. This was so special.
You're a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, in Jesus' name.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dottie's House podcast, and a special thank you to First Lady Monica and Reverend Otis Moss for sharing their story. We are intentional around changing the game about love and marriage in the Black community. We are leveling up this playing field and closing the wealth gap and the marriage gap. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the follow button, share with your friends and family. There is more to come. And also, please follow me at RVFU on Instagram and at the Dottie Club. And if you're single and ready to mingle, looking to meet your happily ever after, please apply at www.thedottieclub.com. If there are guests you'd like for us to bring on or something else you'd want us to talk about, please share. We want to know. You mean the world to us. Love y'all.